Yeah, Kusha. So please introduce yourself.
Sure. So I grew up in Kolkata, India, until I was 18. My parents were businessmen, so they started the business together when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and so grew up around that entrepreneurship, the energy at the house. Dinner table conversations were about their business, and yeah, so that was kind of the environment that I grew up in, and the conversations that I was surrounded by growing up, and we also had a grandmother that I grew up with, and she was mostly at home. Um, After 18, I moved to the US for my undergrad. I was at UCLA where I studied mathematics and statistics. Um, Mostly mathematics I picked it because it was interesting, and I really enjoyed solving those kinds of problems. And statistics because I thought I should be doing something a little more practical that can help me get a job and actually help me um, with even with any kind of business that I eventually start. After UCLA, I applied to a few startups because I knew that I wanted to work in a startup where I get more responsibility, where I can learn more than just one skill or more than just one domain. So I applied to startups, and I got into this company called Insurify, which was a Series B startup based out of Boston. So I moved from Los Angeles to Boston in the US and worked with them for 3 years in the marketing team as a business analyst and then a senior business analyst. It was a great place to work and learn. And yeah, I led a lot of projects across building out their whole social media marketing campaign from $0 a month and spend to $750,000 a month spend. Similarly, I built out their affiliate program along with some more technical, solving more technical problems like their display advertising algorithms, building out all of that and working with product engineering. So I really got a lot of exposure into both the marketing side of things and the business product engineering side of things, which is what I wanted from Insurify. I kind of knew that that was not my long term plan because one, I wanted to be closer to family in India, and two, I knew that eventually I wanted to start something. So I thought that 3 years was kind of a good time to leave, step out of the role, and um, move back to India. Um, in the interim, I also was working on a project with a friend which was an ed tech AI software for Indian companies. I stopped working on that right about the time when I moved back, and then which I did 4 or 5 months ago. And for the last 4 or 5 months, I've been doing consulting. I started my own company here, and I've been working with two companies um, in the insurance tech space, which is what I was doing at Insurify as well. So just clients and companies that I knew from then, I'm working with now from here, in again in different domains, which is quite fun as
What
well.
What were your scores in class 10 and 12?
Then I think I got an 8.8, and 12th I got an 89%.
And your SAT score?
I took the ACT, so I got a 33 out of 36, which was 99th percentile.
Hmm.
And I took a
And
couple other,
when you joined the
sorry,
UCLA, you joined UCLA, right?
correct, yeah.
So what was your CGPA there?
3.6 on 4.
So basically, you graduated in mathematics and statistics, or it is with computing?
So mathematics was with computing, and then statistics was just statistics. So there are two, I did two majors.
So computing as in you write software, or is it something else?
Yeah, correct, yeah. Software. I learned how to code, basically.
So which language you are coding in?
At school, I was doing at college. I was doing C++ plus plus and mostly C++, plus plus, some R, which is a mathematical and statistical coding language, and a little bit of Python.
C++ and Java are similar.
Not really. I think JavaScript is a front end language which um, runs on your browser. C++ is usually run on servers in the
So there
backend.
is something called object oriented and process oriented programming. Can you tell me what that is?
So I'm not sure about process-oriented programming actually, but C++ is an example of object-oriented programming. When we were being taught C++, that's what they taught it to us as, because we when we were writing code, you're working with objects or variables, and manipulating them.
How would you explain this process of object oriented programming to a 5 6 year old kid?
So I would say that an object you can think of as any block within which you can stuff anything that you want. And then what object oriented programming allows you to do is play with those blocks and arrange those blocks
Make it
in
simpler.
ways to create
Make it simpler. Make the explanation simpler. Give some better analogy.
um what age did you say?
6 7 year old,
6 7
maybe
year
10 years
old.
old.
um Trying to think. I would say that like Lego blocks is a good example because different kind of Lego blocks serve different functions, and then you can create a system out of it.
So what would be the elements of object oriented programming and how would you give analogies with Lego?
So there are let's say that there are classes, there are functions, and then there are. I guess we could start with just three things. We could start with some classes, which are just broadly a type of a block. So let's say that a 2 by 2 Lego block is one type of class. Um, and we can have multiple of those blocks called A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, a function could be stacking each of those blocks on top of each other. And if we stack all those four blocks, we get a tower, which could be the result of um, applying the function to those class variables, which in this case are the blocks.
What have you done in mathematics?
Mathematics, I've done calculus, um, number analysis, abstract, a little bit of not a lot of geometry, because so when I say mathematics, I did mathematics economics. That's what the major is called, which is 60% to 60 to 70% mathematics and 30 to 40% economics. So I did macroeconomics, microeconomics, econometrics, um, game theory.
What is something you really like doing in game theory?
I don't remember honestly. Like I don't remember because it's been more than 4 years since I solved like any game theory specific problems. I don't really remember.
And what have you done in statistics?
Statistics, regression, what else? Different kinds of modeling. So like k-means clustering, um, different kinds of uh, multivariable regression models or multivariable prediction models, like gradient boosted trees. And mostly a lot of it was the theory or the underlying, like how to construct the equations, like how to construct the equation of standard deviation. So there were those theoretical classes and there were practical classes where you wrote code out and you had data sets to create an algorithm where you could optimize, which you could optimize um, to create better predictions. So it was like theory and practice.
What is regression?
Regression is the method of predicting the value of object, let's say object Y, when you have the or the output being a object Y, where the input is three or four other variables like A, B, C, D. And you model an equation such that A, B, C, D can help you find the closest value out of the output.
So can we ask you about bivariate data?
I'm not sure what you mean by bivariate data.
There are only two variables, one dependent and one independent.
Okay, sure.
So if there is a linear regression of y on x, what would be the
Mm.
equation?
It's usually like y equals to the so let's say y is the output. Y equals to the y, if there is a, you can have an intercept which could also be zero. So let's say the intercept is a plus the slope of the line times x being the variable value on the x-axis.
So you are basically saying y equal to a plus bx.
Right.
So what is b here? What is b called?
The slope, like a plus bx, correct. The b being the slope.
Is the regression coefficient.
I'm not sure what the regression coefficient is. I would assume a coefficient. Maybe you could call it b, but I'm again not sure if that is what you call b.
And what is correlation coefficient?
Uh, I'm not sure what correlation coefficient is, but I mean, generally correlation is just. I guess I could. I'm not sure of the definition, the definition by the book, but I could take an educated guess. It would be the correlation coefficient would be, let's say, a number between 0 to 1, where if y is the output, x times the correlation coefficient is or defines the relationship, the strength of the relationship between x and y. So if the correlation coefficient is 1, then um, x equals y, obviously. Or actually, the correlation coefficient would probably be -1 to 1, to accommodate for inverse correlation as well.
Do you remember any integration you have used in econometrics?
Um, Integration use and econometrics. Give me one or a minute to think about this. Not even a minute. I think 5 seconds. Um, so I know that the integration, you integrate something, you integrate a function to find the area of um area of the space under the um between the x-axis and the slope, or between the function and the x-axis, or under the function. I'm thinking- I'm not sure of any application of integration and statistics.
Yeah, but you mentioned econometrics, so you are not using it there.
I don't remember.
And what about using differentiation in economics?
Differentiation, again, I mean, differentiation, we use it to calculate the slope of something. I don't remember if like exactly what we used back then, but an interesting use case for differentiation would be, um let's say you have GDP plotted on the y-axis, and on the x-axis you have time. To find the rate of growth or rate of decline of GDP, you could use integration, differentiation, applied on the function.
So you said you joined some company after you graduated.
Yeah.
What was your salary at that point of time?
Oh, when I joined the company, it was 85 or $88,000. Um, which in today's, if we look at the current exchange rate, is around 81 lakhs.
And when you
Plus
left,
I had,
sorry, plus you had.
yeah, I had stock options for the company, although they're not worth anything right now because the company is private.
And when you left the company, what was your salary?
It was 140,000,
So you got a decent jump.
excluding the stock options.
So you got decent jumps in 3 years.
Yes.
And then what was the primary reason for discontinuing that and coming back to India?
The primary reason was family and the long my long-term goal of starting a company here. I thought moving back, uh, I, and another reason was also that my visa to stay in the US in Boston was ending. So I had the option to move to Bulgaria. My company has an office in Bulgaria, or to continue studies in the US while working there. But I thought it made more sense for me to come back home and try to assimilate back into life here.
So you
Um,
are an only child.
Learn more about. I am an only child, yeah,
And this admission at IIM Bangalore is through CAT or through GMAT?
through GMAT.
What is your score there?
695 on the focus.
That's out of how much?
805, I think.
Hmm. That would be high 90s, right? Percent percentile wise.
98, yeah, 98, I think.
Hmm. And you said you are already doing consulting work for two companies.
Yeah.
So what kind of remuneration do you get for that?
Around 40. So I have a retainer total, well, which for both the companies, I'm getting $4,500 right now per month. And on top of that, there's a profit sharing, where I get a share of the profits that I have generate,
You
which
mean
depends on the company.
$9,000 per month or 4,500 per month?
No, for 4,500 total per month,
So these are
for the
based
two
outside
companies. So
India.
they're based outside India, yes.
That comes to how much?
In INR, around 4 lakhs without the profit sharing.
So that is much more than what you would earn after an MBA from IIM Bangalore.
Yeah.
So then why go for an MBA?
Yes. Because I think what I earn right after Bangalore, or right after I graduate from IIM Bangalore, isn't doesn't surmise the entire worth of an MBA from IIM Bangalore. I think there's a lot more value, both from even from a monetary perspective, because I think a lot of the value of IIM Bangalore would accrue later in my life through the network that I built there. Um, and also generally just I think it is from education standpoint is one of the best institutions to study management from, and so I think that would also help. um, It'll be much later in my life for a longer period of time.
But nowadays there's a lot of talk that management education will become redundant sooner or later with the advent of AI.
I mean, I think like management education, I think what I would get from an IIM Bangalore personally would be 2 years to l- assimilate back into India, to learn about India, to learn about the industry, to learn about from the best minds in the country, alongside the best minds in the country, where I could explore and make mistakes as well. When it comes to AI and management education being obsolete, I think like of course AI will make it easier to obtain management education, but I don't think that it can replace an institution like IIM Bangalore just yet.
But
Um,
we keep hearing about lot of people in US who have done their MBA. from the top 5 or top 10 institutes, and they are not getting jobs. Even after making 700, 800 applications, they hardly get any interviews.
I think that I mean you hear about that, but then you also hear about people who get 200, 300, $400,000 jobs. I think it comes down to like personally what you want from the MBA. If you want a job after the MBA, and I still strongly think, based on my experience with recruiting in the US and my friends recruiting in the US, I think that you can get a job. Maybe you won't get it immediately. Maybe the value of an MBA to companies hiring like graduates has declined. But if you if you want, I do believe that you will get a job maybe a little bit later, as compared to before. Maybe companies aren't running after you as they used to before, but that doesn't diminish the value of an MBA just because you're not getting a job right like before graduating.
So, one of the things you're looking for is networking. The assimilation back into the Indian system may not be possible because in any institute, whether it is IIM, ABC, or whatever, you live in a closed environment. So that part of it may not be taken care of.
I think what I'm looking for is just being like more than a closed or a non-closed environment. I think I want to be in an environment where I can talk to people um, my age in a similar setting as I am, so that I can develop deeper connections with people here. Most of my friendships and relationships are now based right now based in the US. Um, and so like I think being at an MBA program is a great place to meet people and develop those deep relationships because everyone is in the same kind of journey, same boat. Um, and like I do think there are opportunities to leave IIM Bangalore. Like when I went to visit the campus as well, I spoke to security guards and I found that people do leave and come back, and there's enough opportunity, and especially in a city like Bangalore,
Leave and come back, meaning?
like they leave the campus and come back at night or
No, it is
uh,
not a jail, but still you spend most of
right.
your time there. So
Yeah, no,
you stay in an artificial environment which is not aligned with society.
that's a fair point. I think that the alternative for me is to either get a job or start with a business. But then again, I think the pros of being in a non-artificial society get outweighed by the fact that networking and like building a life from scratch then is much harder. I find that if I just immediately jump into any job, let's say in Delhi or Bangalore, I feel like I would just get caught up with the job and not really be able to make a couple mistakes, um, learn kind of from scratch, spend time just understanding and thinking deeply about what I want in India because I feel like I need to be very intentional with my decisions rather than just jump into something. Um,
But in your SOP, you have written that you want to start something of your own,
mhm.
right?
Yeah,
So you are already into that and you already have two clients.
yeah.
So why not build up on that?
Again, I think the
I mean, see, the
primarily,
income that you are
yeah,
generating now is more than what would be the starting income at IIM Bangalore. And
yeah,
you want to do that eventually. So you're already doing it and you're already working with people, working with clients who are paying you also.
yeah.
So then what is the point
I
of
think, I
doing
mean,
it?
I think that there are, I would say, three things. Number one, as I've mentioned already many times before, the network. I think what I've seen from my parents, what I've learned from my parents, what I've learned from my career so far as well is that your network is extremely valuable in every aspect of your life. And I think that the network of people that I would meet at IIM Bangalore would serve me for the rest of my life. Number two, being learning like the academically and professionally as well. I feel like the learnings that I would get at a place like IIM Bangalore, um, would be very, very useful down the line. And number three being that I can always come back to doing this job or starting a business. Um, I can get two clients even after I graduate. I can get, and so like, I think that that's not really a time bound thing. Whereas the opportunity to study at a college like I am Bangalore is not something that I would get an opportunity to do later in my life.
And when you are at IIM Bangalore, what happens to these two clients of yours?
I would inform them 2 to 3 months before I make the decision to join or get the offer to join that uh, I will have to stop working with you, and potentially I could help them with hiring someone who can take up my responsibilities if they're so interested
So you will
or
be opting out
finish.
of placements at IIM Bangalore.
Depending on, I would, as I mentioned in my SOP, I would like to join an early stage startup after I graduate from IIM Bangalore. Depending on if there are any early stage startups hiring, um, I would opt out.
Mm. But startup scenario is not very good since 2022. It's not getting better also.
Um,
A lot of startups have closed down. Lots of people who left MBB, they have lost their jobs after joining startups.
yeah, but I think that, I mean, generally, as I mentioned before, I really feel that the craving to start something and to build something on my own, that's what I've seen all my life growing up. And even if times are tough, I would like to try to do that. Until at least until I have responsibilities like raising a family and um, taking care of someone else. So
So you are what,
until I
25 now?
correct,
And your parents are into what business?
they own a travel agency.
So that's doing okay.
Yeah, not bad.
And this is the only business they've had for the last maybe 20 years.
Yes.
So they haven't asked you to get into a salary job rather than going for a business.
No, they in fact want me to start a business.
Hmm. What are your extracurriculars?
I've played golf all my life growing up. I still play golf. Um, I watch I watch a lot of movies very intently because I really like international independent movies, films. Other than that, I read books. I try to read a couple books um, at all points.
So in
Um,
golf, you have
what
any
else?
kind of achievements, notable achievements?
Yeah, so as a kid, I used to play on the East Zone, like the Eastern Zone tour in India and the national tour in India, and I finished in the top five, six in the East Zone multiple years, 2, 3 years, and then I finished in the top 20 in the on the national tour once. And this was
What
at a
was your
junior
age?
level. I think I was 13 then. I had listed it in my I am Bangalore application as well.
Hmm. And the other thing is movies.
Yes.
Which would be your all-time favorite movie? Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but I don't know if you said something before.
I said, which is your all-time favorite movie till date?
Oh, I would. It's hard to pick one, but I actually recently watched a very good movie called Train Spotting. Um, it's a It's a movie about heroin abuse in Scotland.
So what did you like about it?
I like the style of the movie. It's made like I love movies which are about morally dark, gray characters. Um, who but and the films are also generally about dark characters because I think that reflects humanity more accurately than a traditional hero, and I enjoy that. And but delivered in a more not in a dull way, but in a more stylistic and fun, energetic way. And so that movie is kind of about this guy who abuses heroin and is addicted to opioids, and how he decided to choose life rather than choose drugs at the end of it. But it takes you through the experience of how it is like to be an addict of such a hard drug.
So anything else we should know about you?
Um, I'm trying to think if there's something I actually didn't mention that yeah, I've since I moved back to India, I've really started focusing a lot more on my fitness as well. Um, I feel like India allows you to do that a little more than in the US. So yeah, excited to do that if I would be around Bangalore as well. And yeah, I think that's about it.
So
Covering
I
it.
am Bangalore is your only option.
I have ISB for next year. I deferred it to next. I deferred my admission to next year.
You've been admitted there
Yes,
for the 2 year course or 1 year course.
for the 1 year course.
So are you preferring I am Bangalore to ISB?
There are many reasons. I mean, actually, let's go with three reasons. Number one being, I think the quality of both education and network. I would find that I am Bangalore would be higher than an ISP. It's what I've heard from people, and also like from talking to a few people from my network. That's what it seems like to me. Secondly, the location. I got into they assigned me the Mohali campus, whereas Bangalore, I think I've been to Bangalore 2 or 3 times in the last 2 months, and I really liked it. I think that is a perfect place to build a company in India. And I am Bangalore obviously gives me access to Bangalore. Um, and then thirdly, I feel like I also I visited the campus like 2 weeks ago, and I thought that it was a great place to spend 2 years and yeah, just be around people who are learning and yeah.
But worldwide rankings wise, ISB is ahead of I am Bangalore.
Sure, but I think Indian rankings is what I care about because I want
And
to build my
you
life
have
in
a
India.
more multinational network in ISB rather than at I am Bangalore.
I think that what I am prioritizing is an India network and an Indian education right now because I want to build my company in India. And in those aspects, I am Bangalore is better than ISB. As for like global exposure, I feel like given that I've gone to UCLA and I've worked in the US for 3 years, I think I've covered a lot of those and checked a lot of those boxes.
Mm. Shivani, you have any questions for Kushay?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, I think overall it was a decent interview, Kushay.
Okay.
But they will want to know some. You have to be a little clearer on your academic subjects, even though you have 3 4 years work
Right.
experience. So you have to study those things. Okay,
Okay.
your basic graduation stuff, and
Okay.
you are using the word networking too many times.
Okay.
It would be better to say having a good peer group or something like that.
Okay.
That is not a reason to join an institute, which you can say in the
Yeah.
interviews.
Okay.
And in India, in interviews, you are pretty matured interview wise, but you are sounding little brash. Okay, brash in terms of
Okay.
being at an equal level with the interviewer, which doesn't go
Right.
down well in India.
Got it.
Try to be little more humble during the interview.
Okay. Can you help me like identify like specifically what I could improve with that? Like, are there
No,
like any words that I
you
should
can just say
address?
sir few times in between.
Okay.
No, you are coming across
Okay.
as
Got
a
it.
person, as a as a sort of somebody going for let's say an order from a company and
Got it.
talking in those terms,
Got it.
which usually doesn't go down well with Indian interview panels. They expect
Got it.
little more humility, that guru shishya kind of thing
Got it. Got it.
during the interview. uh,
Okay.
I couldn't ask you questions on current affairs and things, but I think academic subjects you need to improve.
Okay.
And I don't know what is the method of teaching there in US, but here object
Mm-hmm.
oriented and process oriented programming, they go together in terms of, if you know what is object oriented, you also know what is process oriented.
Interesting.
And most of the time people have not been able to give me analogies for both.
Okay.
So see if you
Okay.
can
I'll.
do that.
Yeah. I have a quick question about the academic stuff. Is there some place you recommend I like a book or a PDF that I you recommend I look at to brush up on these topics?
I will send you some questions on economics was a major for you.
It was mathematics, economics. So like, and the thing is, I've done two majors, so statistics and then mathematics, economics. So economics is half of one of my majors.
Okay, let me find out about maths and stats. Economics questions I'm
Okay.
sending you, go through them also.
Okay.
And I've probably sent you a YouTube link to all the interviews done this year and last year. You should listen to those.
Okay.
So, but
These are interviews conducted by you with
these are
other
mock
students.
interviews only,
Okay. Okay.
because there are a lot of things that they can ask in the interview. See, as of now, your interview is going haphazard. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be little more structured, which will happen once you
Yeah.
go through a lot of questions and we can decide what you need to say and what you need to leave out,
Okay.
so that you know
Yeah.
that this is the question. If I give this answer, then this is the next question coming,
Yeah.
and we are clear about what are the things you want to tell them, and we ensure that you say those things.
Okay.
Profile wise, there's no issue. I don't think there's much of a problem.
Okay.
But make it little more structured.
Okay. And so for that, you recommend I answer your questions, like the 50 questions that you've sent me.
Yeah, if you can answer
Um,
those, that will be best.
okay.
And for joining I am Bangalore, talk a little bit about the faculty and their inputs that you will get. Make them happy.
Got it. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are
Got
you
it.
in Kolkata?
In New Alipur.
अच्छा.
Um,
चलो ठीक है, let's do another interview day after tomorrow.
sure. So I'm actually going to for a wedding. I'll be back on Tuesday, and but during the wedding, I can do a lot of the. We can do a mock interview also, but I can do a lot of the theory part, like writing all those questions and answers
Yeah,
and,
if you
and
do
reading
that,
up a
you will
little
be
bit.
clearer about your own profile also,
Yeah, yeah,
because
I
that will
agree.
take
So
time.
I was planning. Yeah, I was planning on doing that only. Um,
So do that and
but anything.
send me the answers as and when
Okay.
you finish those. Each question will be
Okay.
around 150 200 words at the most.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
है ना?
Okay, cool. I'll send you the answers and then
Yeah,
I maybe can
I'll
do some
revert on
manual
it.
preparation. Okay, cool.
Chalo, okay, all the best.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.